Okay, so the next problem in the lead code we are solving is house robber. Okay, the problem here is, like, let's say that we have given the list of numbers, okay, which represents the house. Okay, house, and it's the money that it is having. Okay, let's say that there are four houses, and there it has been given that like, I mean, each house has how much amount of money. Okay, so now what is the thing that is being asked here is, we'll have to rob each house. Okay, like, I mean, we'll have to rob these houses and get the maximum amount of money. Okay, like, I mean, we'll have to rob it, and we can just simply go to each house and pick the money, right? Yeah, like, I mean, it will be the sum of it. Correct, that will be the maximum amount of money. But the condition here is, we shouldn't be picking the neighbor element, neighbor houses. Okay, so that is a condition here, and also we need to ensure that we are getting the maximum amount after the load. Okay, so simply we cannot just go odd number ways or even number ways, right? Like, if I pick this, I'll pick this, and or else even number. It's not that case. We'll need to analyze all the cases, that ultimately it will give us the maximum result, while ensuring that we are not robbing the neighbor ones. Okay, so let's, before actually going to the code, let's try to understand how we can approach this problem. Okay, so now let's say that these are the houses. Okay, and it has the, like, I mean, what is the amount of money that it holds. Okay, so now let's assume, let's forget about all this. Let's say that if I have only one house, okay, two, what will be the maximum amount that I can gain? The answer will be 2. Correct. Similarly, like, now there are two houses, 2 and 7. Okay, I'm coming from left to right here basically. So 2 and 7. So what will be the maximum amount that I can rob? Obviously, I cannot rob both of them because those are neighbor. So I can pick only one. So whichever this is, maximum one is 7, right? So maximum amount is 7. So far, let's say that if you are able to see it, right, let's say that if you are traversing, the robber is going from left to right, and he could have robbed the maximum. We are just storing the maximum possibilities, that, like, I mean, we need, ultimately we need the maximum amount that he can rob, right? So we'll just store it like this. Okay, so when the element was only 2, it means house was only 1, like, because that was it, and when it's 2, it's a maximum of these two, right? So now comes the new story. Let's say that now we have the three houses. Correct, now we have the three houses, and we cannot be again doing the things, right? Like, I mean, it's not like maximum of these elements. Correct, like, that's not the correct answer. But here, like, I mean, if you take a max element, it will be 9, right? But what we are looking for is, we need to rob the houses and get the sum of it, right? We cannot rob this one, obviously we know that. We need to rob either this or this. Okay, or we'll have to rob only this one, because we shouldn't be robbing the neighbor elements. Okay, so now let's assume, how are we going to analyze this problem, right? Let's say that now we need to decide. 2 comma 7 is done. Like, we have calculated what will the maximum amount that we can rob here, right, from the 1 and 2 houses. Now we need to decide whether to rob this house or not rob the house. Okay, so now let's say that if I'm going to rob this house, what will be the price that we are going to get, right? Like, if I'm going to rob this, obviously I need to pick the n minus, like, I mean, let's say that if this is the current house, the previous house, previous house, I need to pick that value, right? Found, so far I found this is the value, right? So far we found that 2 is the, like, maximum amount that we can collect from the houses, right? Here this is a 7, right? So now if I want to pick this one current house, so I will have to add it up with the, so far what we have found, right? We'll have to add it up, and we'll see, like, how much amount we are going to get. Okay, so let's say that we have entered the ninth house, and let's say that I am picking this house. Okay, so in that case, what I will do, 9 plus whatever we found so far maximum, that is 9 plus 2 will be 11, right? This is the condition when I am picking the house. Now let's analyze if I don't pick the house. So if I don't pick the house, it means that we are going to, like, whatever we found so far, right? Let's say that there was a list of houses. Okay, like, I mean, I found 7 maximum amount so far, right? I can just simply pick this, because we are not, however, we are not considering the last house, right? We can simply pick whatever that is in the behind one, right? So that one will, that will be like 7. Answer will be 7. Correct. So now we have did a two analysis. Like, what did we do is, whether to pick this house or not pick the house. So when we pick the house, we are getting a maximum of like, I mean, we can loot amount till 11 rupees, or, like, if you don't pick it, it's a 7. Like, which is the best one here? Like, we need to pick whichever, like, to get the maximum profit, or like maximum amount during the robbing, right? We'll have to pick the scenario where we get a maximum amount. So what does it signify? So like I mean, obviously I will go with the like I mean, I'm going to pick this house, right? So if I pick the house, what will be the new value? 11, right? So now what is the pattern that we are going to see here is, let's say that if it's a 1, we can directly pick it. If it is a 2, we can just take the maximum of it. But we can, when there are multiple, right, we can just simply rely on the previous values, previous calculations so far we done. So previous calculations, and calculate check the new next maximum possibilities, right? So now what is the thing that we need to observe here is, what would be done, we took a two condition, whether to pick this or not pick this, correct? So now if we try to draw this something dependency, right? Let's say that this is n, currently we are in this house. So obviously this will be the n minus 1 1000 n minus 2 house, correct? And this is the like I mean, maximum possible answer we found so far, right, for each houses n minus 2, like I mean n minus 2. Okay, so like if you try to draw the analogy here, so ideally whenever when I want to decide whether to pick this house or not pick the house, it is nothing but what we do, n and n minus 2, we took a sum, right? So we'll, if we pick this house, so the new maximum possibility will be n and n minus 2. Okay, if you don't pick the house, it will be just n minus 1, right? We'll do these calculations. Okay, we'll do these two calculations every time, and we'll check which is the maximum one. That's what we did, right? Which is the maximum, 11 or 7? We'll take the maximum out of these two values. Okay, and we'll say that this is the maximum possibility, and we'll update our list. Like I mean, we can keep track of it, right? 2, 7, 11. Okay, so if you understood correctly, like I mean, to simplify here, right? Like I mean, to just to summarize here, so if you just had one element, right, like I mean, this is like a base condition that we are keeping here. So and also it's a straightforward thing. If you just have one house, we'll be just returning that value. If you have two house, we'll be returning the maximum of yeah, these two house values. Okay, but when we have three, what we can do is, we'll have to rely on maximum value that we found so far. We'll be keeping track of it, like I mean, how much amount of how much amount we have already robbed it, correct? So now how are we going to do is, like based on the condition that if we are going to rob the current house or not. Okay, if you are going to rob the house, it will be this condition. If you are not going to rob the house, this will be this condition. Like whatever the we value found so far, that is good for us, we should not be picking the current house. Okay, so now let's go to the next one. Let's say that 3. Okay, let's this is the, wait a minute, where did it go? Yeah, so the new element will be something like, let me just try to fit in here, 2, 7. Like I mean, like I mean, we'll be getting this one, right? We'll be taking this one. This is our array, like I mean, maximum amount that we wrote for, right? Wrote for, right? This is how we are keeping the track of it. So now let's say that again we'll apply the same condition here, saying that should I pick this house or not? Okay, how are we going to do it? Let's say that I'm going to pick this house. So what I will have to do is, I will have to take 3 and I will have to add it to the maximum possibility, maximum amount that I have already found. Okay, like n minus 2, like current n is 3 and n minus 2 is, and we shouldn't be adding to the 2 here, like I mean 7 here, 3 and 7, 3 plus 7 10. We are not doing that. We are going to add it to the maximum amount that we have already calculated. Like we did a calculation, right? Like I mean, for doing from the left to right, we analyze that to 7 and this is the maximum so far. We'll have to add it to that. Okay, so current value is 3, and what is the maximum amount that we already calculated so far in this range? So that will be plus 7. Okay, so that will give us 10. Okay, and what is n minus 1 value? So we already have 11. Okay, that is n minus 1, meaning that this index we already have 11, which is maximum here, 10 or 11. If I'm going to pick this, that will going to get 10. Okay, sorry. So if we are going to pick this, right, like I mean, if we are going to pick this, will the maximum result will go 10, but we already had 11 before, right? We can simply pick that. So that what it indicates that I will not pick this 3. Okay, so the answer will still remain as 11 here. Okay, so we'll apply the same thing. Like I mean, it's just about understand it, like if we understood this formula or not. And from the next time, it's the same thing again. So let's say that if you get 1, right, we'll have to do the same thing. So 1 and n minus 2 will be 11 here. So 1 plus what will be this 1 plus 11, what is the answer we get? That is the 12 we'll get. And like I mean, what is the n minus 1 value? That is the 11, correct? Right. So this is n, and this is n minus 2. Correct. N minus 2. This is we are somewhere here. We are trying to fill it up. This one. This is n, and n minus 2 is this one. Okay. 11 plus new value is 1. That will give us 12 value. But previous one, if we don't pick it, we'll have to stick with this one, which is 11, and we know that that is lesser. So we'll get a maximum result if we pick that element, right? So that will be the answer, 12. So yeah, let's see that how we are going to solve this problem, right? Like, we'll just check the code now. Just make sure that this part of the code is clear. Okay, like, I mean, what we have done so far. Okay, now let's check the code. Okay, and basically what we'll do is, we'll identify the length, and if the length is less than 2, right, we can just take a maximum of whatever the element, and we'll send it, right? If it is a 1 also, we'll be returning that, and if it is a houses of the 2, right, 2 houses, we'll again calculate the maximum of it and return the value. Okay, and now to do for the calculation for the third house, we need to know, like, I mean, what is the maximum values found so far. Like, I mean, if you check the code here, right, we always rely on the last two elements, correct? Whenever we want to do the calculation for something, we'll always rely on the previous elements, right? So when we are calculating this, we were relying on these two. When we are calculating this, we were relying on these two, right? So we'll have to keep a track of the last two houses or last two maximum possibilities, correct? So now we'll do the same thing. Like, let's say that we'll do the calculation for the last two elements, and this will be n minus 2 and n minus 1 for us. Like, I mean, this will be helpful for calculation for third house, basically. Okay, and now what we'll do here is, here is where we are doing the calculation. Okay, n minus 2, let's say that if you are going to not pick the house, that's right, it will be n minus 1, right? That whatever the calculation that we have it here. Okay, what is the maximum? Okay, and the other calculation is, if you are going to pick it, we'll have to add it to the n minus 2 plus current value. So whichever is maximum, we'll update to the new result. Either you can keep it make it as a list here. Actually, like, here we were building that list, right? Let me erase this. We are building this list, right? We can keep a track of it, but we don't need it. Actually, we just need a last two elements, so we are just going with n minus 2 and n minus 1. So if you just analyze this code, it should be clear, actually. Yeah. Yeah, that's it, actually. That is one thing, and actually we can also solve this using a backtrack method, but it just is a, like, I mean, high time complexity, so it will time out, actually. So yeah, that's it. Thanks. Yeah, just make sure that we understand this condition. This is the base condition here. So it is like, if you are going to pick the third, let's, like, it's easy for one and two elements, and it's a new story for the three elements. Okay, so if I want to find out calculation for this, I will have to rely on it's like, if I want to pick this element or not pick the element. Okay, that we have to check. How we are going to check based on the maximum result that we are going to get. That's it.